time for another Elsie's Little Pickles, the pickle pod for the people, reminding you to stay true to your MAGA protest by putting a pickle on a porch, taking a picture of it, and sending it to us here at Elsie's Little Pickles at gmail.com. And we got
You can also reach us at Elsie's Perfectly Adequate Size Pickles.
Oh, God.
Just wanted to put that out there.
It just starts right out of the gate. Okay.
Elsie, she said it was perfectly good size pickles.com.
We got a full pickle barrel. We got Kiefer. We got Colton. We got me.
Cool, motherfuckers.
Cool, motherfuckers.
Huh.
Look, I say this almost
It's been a long week.
It has been a long week. And it's just fucking Tuesday. And
you
I
guys
say
see
this,
about that signal chat?
Oh, we'll get to that. That's the thing is like, I don't think people understand that what we try to do here is try to condense the news down to the things you should at least be aware of, or at least in our opinion, you should be aware of. Things that are motivating politicians to behave in certain ways, so on and so forth. But the
How can
volume,
you do that when there's a million stories a day?
That's what I'm saying is like, it's exhausting. People, honestly, the amount of news that I consume in an average day is pretty fucking disgusting. I know it's the same for you two, but man, it's just so much. It's so much. Like
I watch news every single day. Not actual like mainstream news, but like lefty news.
Yeah. People
that are presenting the information and are very vocal about their bias, which to me makes them more honest.
Yeah. Like I've said here, do I lean left on a lot of things? I do, but I also lean right when it comes to certain fiscal things. I'm probably more of a libertarian than I am anything, but that's only based on...
You're not an American libertarian, I'll tell you that.
No?
American libertarians are just Nazis that want to smoke weed.
Any of you
no.
actually listen to NPR?
Yes.
I listen to a lot of NPR. And I don't, NPR has got a certain aura about it, but especially here in the Northeast, I've got like 6 different channels.
Mm-hmm.
I get it from Maine, New Hampshire, New York, Vermont, and Massachusetts. So I get a wide range.
Yeah, that's a lot of NPR.
And some of it is the same, obviously, but they have local programming on the stations.
The New York one is just a lot of, hey, I'm walking here. Hey, oh, vowels.
Vowels.
Hey, I, oh, you. Sometimes why?
Sometimes you got to throw in a why.
But
was it George Carlin who said, at least with New York, finally a place where they could say, or I'm going to butcher it, but hoipies. He's got the hoipies.
Hoipies, yeah. Yeah, I think he did.
Goddamn cardiac infection.
Well, that was the Boston. Yeah. That's the Boston. What happened?
Boston, okay.
He had a heart attack. He had a what? He had a heart attack. A heart attack? Yeah, goddamn myocardial infarction. He had a heart attack.
I found my khakis in my khakis.
All right.
But with NPR, when it's the end of the world, I am going to turn into NPR for all of the news because no matter how terrible it is, it's that calm voice.
They do have you.
Yep.
They do.
The world is coming to an end.
Russia has launched the nukes.
Everything is going poorly. Very poorly. And when I say poorly, I mean you have about 10 minutes to get all your shit together.
You know what's awful that reminds me of? In 7th grade, my science teacher, so we had 2, I'm not going to say the name just to be safe, but we had 2 teachers. We had 2 teachers that had the same last name, and we distinguished them between height because the science teacher was short and the history teacher was tall, right? But they had the same last name. So it was short name, tall name.
Okay.
Short name was my science teacher. And at one point, I forget what we were even talking about. I don't think it was anything even related to atomic energy. But he just decided, you know what? I'm going to drop this on these 12-year-olds and hopefully they have a bomb shelter. Because what he said was, if you're ever within 50 miles of where a nuke is going to strike, drive towards it, not away from it, because at least then you'll be vaporized and you won't die slowly.
Well, that's true. I mean, that is true.
But we were 12.
And, I mean, let's face it, that takes a lot of commitment.
Now, see, I immediately call into question his credentials as a teacher, because everybody knows that nuke drops, you get underneath that protective desk.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best thing ever created. Yeah, the school desk.
Trapper keeper will keep away the
If there's a tornado, you go to the bathroom. Atomic bomb, you just crawl into your desk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to the news.
All right. The news with Gary Gnu. Palestinians take part in the largest anti-Hamas protests in Gaza since the start of the war.
There are still Palestinians?
Apparently, and this is quite the missed opportunity for a whole gathering that Israel just didn't bomb.
Yeah, but also, who would have guessed? The people getting fucking bombed and murdered in cold blood don't like the people that are the justification for them getting bombed and murdered in cold blood.
Look, the whole thing is a sticky fucking mess. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm
it's like a porno floor.
Yeah, it is. It's very much like a porno floor. I think you can be of the opinion that you don't want people killed, specifically the Palestinians. I think you can also be of the opinion that Hamas fucking started this.
Bad.
What's that?
Well, they didn't. I mean, they started this conflict, but they did not start the conflict.
No, I know, but I mean, the fact of the matter is that when you do something like they did, that October 7th bullshit,
yeah,
you gotta expect that. Given, read the room for fuck's sake. You know that.
Funny? Not even an hour ago, I just came across a Christopher Hitchens bit where he was talking about Zionism and how it's a really flimsy and dangerous, and this is in like the 90s. He's talking because he still had hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about how Zionism is such a flimsy and dangerous foundation for a country to be on. And he was saying, like, look, I'm not saying that there aren't hundreds of other countries that are built at their foundation on injustices. That's not what I'm saying. And he was like, I'm also not saying that you can put the genie back in the bottle and remove the state of Israel. That's not what I'm saying either. But when your founding ideology and the continued adherence to the ideology of Zionism is an ethno-nationalist ideology at its core, that's what it is. And he was saying essentially what the state of Israel represents is Jewish people from Brooklyn claiming that they have a right over Israel when they have no real ancestral ties to the land.
Right.
Certainly not any more than a Palestinian born in Jerusalem.
And certainly not more than I have any rights to Ireland or you do because we're, historically had Irish blood.
Exactly.
Like none of that. See, that's the thing is like this idea, and I get it. I do get it. It's human nature. You know what I mean? You want to attach yourself to what you think is your history or your heritage, but look, I didn't even have a drink on St. Patrick's Day. Does that make me a bad Irishman?
Yeah.
No, technically, traditionally Irish people do not drink on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, really? It's a holy day.
Well, in that case, then I'm a great Irishman.
Well, I mean, it's the same logic that you see in to my eye, I see a strong correlation between the rebel flag is my heritage, it's not hate. Or
again, I think that idea of holding on so tightly to your heritage is a bit silly, to be honest with you, especially nowadays. Look, back, when that's all you had was your heritage. You sure as hell didn't have a lot of money. But you did have, I may be broke as fuck.
I might be
but,
poor, but I was born an Englishman.
Yeah. So you could be proud that you were born an Englishman. But see, that's the thing. That's what's different about the United States. The United States isn't.
I'm going to win the lottery and I'm going to buy myself better friends than you.
All right.
God damn it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like this idea of, in this day and age, feeling like you have to be attached to a plot of land, I think is ridiculous. And the thing is the U.S. is different in this sense because while we do have our USA pride and all that bullshit, but we weren't founded on heritage. We weren't founded on blood ties. We were founded as a nation of law. And that's different than every other fucking country out there.
I would say an important element to that is if you're looking at pre-revolution colonial America, right? What you see, it is. What you see is not nationalism as I am an American. You see two types of nationalism. You see nationalism in terms of I'm
hungry.
Yeah, I'm born of rich blood and I'm an Englishman, or you see, I was born in Virginia and I'm proud to be a Virginian.
Yeah. Yeah. But see that again, this is the whole thing in the Middle East, whether you're talking Middle East proper, whether you're talking Israel, Gaza Strip, however you want to, like all of that, right? All of that, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, all
of yous over there,
all of that, right? They have not been able to get along ever. They
were doing just fine until the establishment of the state of Israel. There were Jews living in Palestine prior to the establishment of the state of Israel, and they were welcomed. They were doing just fine.
Yeah, but historically, I mean, for a period of time, but historically, there's always been fucking big issues. Like there's always some sort of conflict going on in the Middle East, at least in my recollection of history. Like it may not be in Gaza, but it's in Saudi Arabia, or it's in Iraq, or it's in Iran, or whatever. Like there's always one of those motherfuckers kicking up the dust, either in one of their neighbors' faces or in another country's face, like ours or England or France or whatever. They just can't seem to get along. And I don't understand nowadays. I do understand that's the problem, but I don't understand the logic of continuously stirring the fucking pot.
Well, nothing for the last 100 years. It's been because of Western interventionism.
Oh, I agree,
that's
we need
reason.
We need to keep our nose out. Yeah,
they were fine until we said, you know what? We don't like your democratically elected government. We think you should have a caliphate, so we have an enemy.
Well, you're unfortunately right about that. Anyway, moving forward, because we're never going to solve. They haven't solved this problem. I don't think we're going to fucking solve it.
Yeah. Good point.
But at least they got together and had a protest.
I don't remember if I mentioned this last week or not. It says from 3 days ago, so maybe I didn't. But Trump revoked security clearances for Biden, Harris, Hillary Clinton. Let me look at the complete list. Anthony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, Lisa Monaco, Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Hillary Clinton, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Fiona Hill, Alexander Vindman, Mark Zaid, Norman Eisen, and Andrew Weissman.
Yep. And that gets right to the theme of the episode, Retribution.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. This is, I've been hesitant to do a show on Retribution for two reasons. One, I wanted to give him the opportunity to not behave that way, but he can't help himself.
No.
The other thing is I've been hesitant on when to do it because more is yet to come. But I think that, at least my opinion is that so much Retribution has been done, and it's been done kind of on the down low. Like the stories pop up, but the news cycle is so fast. That's the problem. Yeah. So like you'll get a day or two about this particular topic or that particular topic.
And but I don't hear nothing about it again because, well, as Steve Bannon put it, our strategy is to send out 100 different things a day so they get caught up on 2 or 3, and we pass 97.
Right. And they're doing that very effectively. So the reason why I
this
decided...
regime is the revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. The reason why I decided that I wanted this episode to be about Retribution is because I think that it's time for us to do a little retrospective. It's only been, just over, 65 days, I think, or something like that?
Yeah, a little over 2 months.
Little over 2 months. And I think, honestly, at this point, there's been so much Retribution that has already been forgotten about.
I have more for you.
Oh, I bet. Lay it on me.
Oh, joy.
Well, we all know about, what is it, Signals?
Signal, yeah.
Yeah.
Signal, which I can officially say I did not get included in the battle plans, but I did keep getting text messages from someone by the name of JD Vance, and it was just ads for Gardner White.
Yeah, I got
really
those too.
Feet pics.
Yeah, I got those too. There's nothing but sectional after sectional after sectional.
In response to the news about this, how shall I say, treasonous
breach of national security.
Yeah, anyone else would be going to prison for. Officials in Brussels have come out, and one European Commission official who they did not... Oh, actually, I take that back. They did. Antonio Costa, who's the European Council president, said, well, I'm just going to sum it up, because literally he said, we knew that they don't like us, they as in the United States, and this will just speed up our journey towards a strategic autonomy, because we need to have control over our own vital interests. And right now, the U.S. cannot be trusted with any of this or any information from us.
And he was with
basically
the UN Security Council?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I had his affiliation correct.
They do not trust us because of this breach of information.
Well, it's not just that.
They called the administration basically a bunch of clowns.
Well, and they're right. Yeah. I mean, that's the fact. Look.
Did either of you see the congressional hearing on the Signal case?
No. I saw clips of it. I didn't see the whole thing, no.
I didn't watch the entire thing either, but
it got contentious, though.
Clips. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was a breach of national security. They added someone that no one knew whose phone number it was, who just so happened to be a journalist, that leaked that they were using Signal. And then when questioned about it, Tulsi Gabbard was like, nothing confidential was said, but it's top secret.
Yeah. So
isn't that what confidential means?
I'm sorry. This text just came in, and this is no bullshit. Friend of the show, Kirk Nolan, sent me this.
Oh, yeah.
People are now referring to Pete Hegseth as Whiskey Leaks. And I'm kind of miffed that I didn't think of it first.
I maintain that the most alcoholic thing I've ever heard someone say was Pete Hegseth saying, if you make me the defense secretary, I will stop drinking.
Yeah. Well, this was a meme that he sent, but he knows that that's right up my alley. Yeah. So the problem is that they keep saying, well, we don't know how this is going to work out, right? No senior official has ever been put in this position or blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is they did say on one of the news clips I heard that this actually did happen, something similar, not exactly, but a breach of security, the likes of this happened during the Clinton administration. And so this guy who
his dick.
they apparently what happened was he filed, or the judge filed the paperwork on Friday afternoon, and it didn't go through right away because of the weekend. And then Monday morning, Clinton pardoned him. So on his way out, right? He pardoned him.
Speaking of judges, as of 4 hours ago, Mike Johnson is threatening to eliminate federal courts.
How are you going to do that, you little
That's
fucking
not
dapper?
A power of Congress.
He's such a dapper Dan little fucking cunt of a human.
Just look at him. I just want to punch him right in the fucking throat.
He is that guy.
Yeah, him and his adopted son are accountability buddies. So if either of them look at porn, the other one sees it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something creepy that he watches with his adopted dad, Geppetto.
Oh, tell me a lie. Tell me a lie.
Lie to me. Lie to me.
Fucking tell me a lie.
Who's not your daddy?
God damn it, I said lie to me.
But speaking of retribution, Trump signs executive order against the law firm Jenner and Block.
All right.
That's the one that employed someone that was a part of the Mueller report, right?
I don't remember if it was the Mueller report or if it was.
I think it was the Mueller.
Well, they're a pretty large.
Or Jack Smith.
Yeah,
one of the two.
I think it was Smith, but I could be wrong. This law firm apparently has done a lot of work for Democrats, so that's what it is, right? You guys came after me. That's not okay, right? I'm back in office. I'm going to use every ounce of power to fuck with you.
Yep. Unitary executive theory, baby.
Because he is a petty little bitch.
Yeah.
And people need to start calling it for that. Okay? Like, even if you're a supporter of Trump, you can't tell me that that's not being a petty bitch. You get in politics, you better have some thick ass skin. You get into politics, you better be able to take a punch. And if this is how you respond, I'm sorry, you don't belong in politics. When the go-to is, I'm going to sign an executive order. Like, everything is executive orders. Everything is an executive order. How about fucking actually doing some legislation, Congress? Look, even with the Congress tilted the way it is, Congress creating these laws is far more stable than just.
Well, again, it's unitary executive theory. They want a dictator.
I think you're right.
Breaking news. Donald Trump has just signed an executive order for 5 Filet-O-Fishes and a Diet Coke.
It's right here. I'm holding it up. Everyone can see my signature. It's a very large signature.
When I show people the button on my desk, they think it's the N word, the nuclear button, but it's not. It's the D word, the Diet Coke button.
You're getting good at that, kiddo. You're getting good. But I mean, you're seeing this kind of retribution go across the board. I guess that's my point, and it's really becoming petty. Was that the last story you had?
Yeah, I mean, there's also Trump did just sign an executive order pushing proof of citizenship for voting across the board.
Right. Yeah. It's to be expected, though. I mean, that's something that the Republicans have been had a hard on for forever.
We're all waiting for it. He finally did it.
Yeah. So, all right. So we talked about revocation of security clearances. So that included Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, members of the Biden family.
Yeah.
This move was widely viewed as retaliating for their previous opposition and actions during prior administration. So that's
Can I just divert for 2 things real quick, not necessarily about retribution? So first, did you see the video of Trump showing the one Fox News lady that he made them take the Declaration of Independence out of the vault to put it on his wall?
Yeah. Laura, was that with Laura Ingraham?
I believe so. Yeah.
I don't think
blonde one.
Yeah.
The blonde one.
They're all fucking blonde. I don't think that he can legally do that.
No, you can't.
Well, I mean, he did. It was on the wall. And he was like, and you see, we need the curtains because they say the light will damage it. Yes, it will. Put it the fuck back.
I'm finding it difficult to believe that the archives, the National Archives, is okay with that. So, like, maybe just for that interview,
it on his wall.
Maybe
it's framed on the wall of the Oval Office.
Just like Nicolas Cage, they probably just gave him a poster.
Yeah, and then the second diversion was
at this moment he's looking for a map on the back.
Yeah,
a Colorado government building had a portrait of him put up, and he insisted that they take it down because it looked like shit, but it actually just looked like him.
Yeah, I saw that picture. He looks a little puffy in it, but that's a little bit more accurate to when that portrait was actually made, which was 6 years ago.
Also, Elon Musk, since February 1st, has lost $200 billion.
Yeah, the biggest loss of wealth in recorded history.
Yes. And Tesla has slumped in sales worldwide by 49.7%.
Yeah,
they're down, I think, 94% in Germany, which is hysterical because Germany is the car they are the Detroit of Europe.
Yeah.
They love cars.
He's going to have to really. I don't see him lasting too much longer. I think his little day, in politics is coming to an end pretty quick. I think at some point he's going to be put in a position, even though he's like the bully shareholder, CEO kind of guy. Like, he owns the most amount, and basically everyone else just works for him on the board.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to come a time where that even he goes, all right, I got to get out of this.
I sent you the video of Trump and some other guy talking on the left side of the screen, something important.
And Elon Musk playing with the fork and spoon.
He was balancing forks like a
Yeah. I don't know if this is real or not. I have not seen it anywhere other than social media, so take this with a massive grain of salt. But I have seen what is allegedly leaked audio from the White House of J.D. Vance talking to Trump and saying about Elon, this guy's got to go. He's making all of us look bad.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, you can say a lot about JD, but he's not an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but
he's a useful idiot.
He's a useful idiot.
But that doesn't mean he's just an idiot.
Exactly. And that's the thing is useful idiots often are very smart. And in fact, oftentimes...
I like to keep a few around.
Yeah. Well, what people don't understand with a useful idiot is the smarter somebody is, typically the easier it is to get them to do what you want them to do because they don't think that you could fool them. They're too smart for their own good,
Yeah, you can mental jujitsu them into doing what you want.
Right.
You could say that I am your JD Vance.
Yeah, you are definitely you're my JD, my little couch fucker. I love you.
Then why aren't you asking me why I haven't said thank you yet?
Yes, exactly.
I got to take 5 minutes out here really quick because my couch is calling me.
Okay. Yeah. It's winking at you, huh? Actually,
it's a trifold.
Actually, let's take a quick break.
Oh, really quick.
We're back. All right. So obviously we were talking about him targeting legal firms and professionals. So
going after federal courts.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Trump has I don't know. I can't remember. Let me say that if it was him or his staff, the judge's wife was mentioned that they're actually attacking his family.
Oh, this is the scare tactic. Like what people have to understand is the reason why this is important to pay attention to is because this is how it starts. This is how dictatorships work. You come out hard and heavy and you scare people and you take things away from them that you have the authority to take away. And then you make their life miserable because you have the full power of the federal government behind you. And even if you're wrong, you're going to make those people's lives fucking miserable for a period of time before the court system is able to even say, no, you can't do that. So there's no win. It's a no-win situation. And he's just the bully on the playground, right? I mean, that's really what this is. And you see that with fucking, picking on lawyers and law firms. Even like the dismissal of the inspectors general on January 24th, he got rid of 17 of them, right? And he can say that that's government accountability, but that's what their job was. Their job is government accountability. The intimidation of the judiciary. You're seeing that, like we said with Mike Johnson. Now he's got Mike Johnson saying that he's going to get Congress to, either impeach these judges or get rid of them. And the thing is that clip that of Mike Johnson, he actually says in there, and hopefully I'm not misquoting it, in the last 100 years, 67% of the cases that were brought against a president, 67% of those were against Trump. Well,
yeah.
One way to look at that is maybe Trump's the problem.
Yeah.
Just maybe.
I mean, it's that case of everyone's always picking on me. Everyone's always picking on me. Well, what'd you do? Well, I didn't do nothing. Well, what'd you do? Well, and then you tell them what you did, and they go, well, of course they're picking on you. You're an asshole. Like,
at least
if every day
Danny Raskin has come out and said that this is outrageous, the proper response to a disagreement with a particular court ruling is not to abolish that court. That's obviously a naked assault on the judicial independence.
Yeah, and that's...
But I want to see more of that, though.
Yeah.
Don't just say it.
Where are the Democrats on stuff like this? This is where you're supposed to go, okay, that's enough. No, you can't do that.
Correct.
Where are they?
Yes.
I mean,
where?
And talk about
why?
Why? Talk about a fragile Republican Party. All right. They're all up in arms today over Jasmine Crockett's comments regarding Abbott in Texas. Right? Did you hear this one?
Yeah, Hot Wheels.
Yeah, she called him Hot Wheels. Right?
Which is hysterical.
I thought it was pretty funny. She calls them Hot Wheels, and they are up in arms. Oh, my goodness. But meanwhile, you're telling us you're just going to get rid of the courts, and we're not supposed to lose our shit.
I would like to point out a second piece of hypocrisy on that. They worship a man who regularly makes fun of disabled people and has active disdain for disabled people.
Yeah, how dare you?
They worship him, but how dare Jasmine Crockett?
Right. Oh, so what goes around can't come around?
There's a difference between when they do it and when Jasmine did it.
I know that it's because I got an idea. It's because she's black.
What? She's black?
She's black. Yeah. I think that's the reason.
Shocking.
I think that's the real reason they're upset.
Obviously a DEI hire.
She is clearly a DEI.
How dare she own melanin?
Yeah. How dare you? She owns it. I like that.
I mean, I would say she owns it.
Oh, no, you're right. It's just that phrasing was beautiful. I love it. All right, back to the retribution.
How dare she not have an owner?
Oh.
Okay, so Mike Johnson obviously came out and is talking about this, but Trump has intensified his criticism of judges who have ruled against his policies, calling for impeachment of certain judges and imposing sanctions on law firms associated with high-profile cases against him. These actions have alarmed legal experts who feared they undermine the judicial independence and threaten the rule of law. You think? You fucking think?
I keep wondering when they're going to bring back calling, a member of the Republican Party the House Whip.
Oh no, they still have the whip.
But they don't say it.
No, they do. I've heard them say it.
Recently?
Well, I don't know.
I'm sure they want to recently.
Yeah. No. I see where you're going. All right. Actions against protesters and media. The administration has adopted a more aggressive stance towards dissent, with President Trump labeling protesters against companies like Tesla as domestic terrorists.
Because American citizens are terrorists if they boycott a company, and that's worthy of being sent to an El Salvadorian prison camp.
Not just any company. Let's be clear here.
The shadow.
It only matters.
Company. Yeah, the shadow president's company.
Right,
but that's worthy of sending U.S. citizens to an El Salvadorian prison labor camp. But white supremacy and white supremacist violence, which is, according to the FBI, the most common type of terrorism in the States.
There's good people on both sides.
Precisely. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, with Elon as the shadow president, it's no surprise. And then on top of that, with Trump being the son of a KKK member, also not a surprise.
Well, this was Fred?
Yeah, Fred Trump was in the KKK.
I didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me. I just didn't know it.
Woody Guthrie wrote a song about him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's threatening severe actions under the Patriot Act. Additionally, there have been an increase in attacks on the media with calls to revoke licenses of press companies producing unfavorable coverage. These actions reflect a broader pattern of retribution by President Trump against those perceived as adversaries, raising concerns about the erosion of democratic norms and institutions. Again, you don't just wake up one day and turn on the TV or, pop open your phone and check the news, and then the big story is, oh, today's the first day of our dictatorship. Like, that's not how this works.
No, it's a slow burn.
It's a very slow, very slow burn, but not something that could not happen in 6 months.
There's no jump to the left. It's only a step to the right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's all Democrats have been doing for the past 20 years is saying, oh, well, the Republicans are being mean to us, so let's just appease them on like half of their policies, and then they adjust those half of their policies to more extreme principles, then the Democrats are, the Republicans are being mean to us again, so we have to be more conservative.
So I guess my thing is when you see executive orders being used just everywhere on everything, when you see the attack that's going against the press, when you see the attack that's going against the judicial system, when you see the attack that's going against schools,
all I can say is, God damn it, Reagan, not again.
But
I got to point out that on screen, you look like you should be at a MAGA rallies there, buddy.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. I got the full MAGA look going right now. Baseball hat. It's not red. But
no.
But Elon, I'm dark MAGA.
Yeah. All right. Tough guy. Whatever.
I love that there's a new movement. I don't know if you guys have seen it, the whole dark woke thing.
No.
Essentially, it can be distilled into one recent image, and that's Jasmine Crockett calling Greg Abbott Hot Wheels.
Oh, really?
Okay. Essentially, it's like, I'm woke, and I'm gonna make sure you know that, but I'm also gonna clown you if you're opposed to me.
No. All I see is consistent.
Guilty of 37 crimes. They're gonna let it slide. Love that song.
Oh, man. Look, what people need to start waking up to is, and it's hard. This gets back to what we were talking about in the beginning. There's so much news that they're just, every day they're throwing out 100 fucking stories, and if only 2 stick, they got 98 that they're able to sneak through.
Yeah.
And that's really where we're at right now. But the problem is the ones that are sneaking through are the ones that are clearly showing him moving towards, in my opinion, a dictatorship. I think he's trying desperately to dismantle all of the guardrails
on several fronts. Martial law.
Yeah.
Dictatorship.
Well,
dismantling the judiciary part of the government.
Just on this show, I've already established for us that Trump is, on every conceivable point, a fascist.
Yeah.
And so is Elon, and so is J.D. Vance, and so is Ramaswamy, and so is, which I know he's not technically involved anymore, but that.
Oh, he's involved.
Yeah.
And
they're fascists.
And then you have. Go ahead.
They're fascists. This is what they're going to do. And the only piece of hope that I can cling on to personally is the fact that fascism burns itself out so fast. It always does. It's just not sustainable.
Well,
it's sustainable for an administration.
I would argue
maybe a decade.
I would argue Putin in many ways.
Yeah.
He's been in office, what, 20 some odd years?
There's something to be said for that, but
and look,
also
Trump is
ostracized by the international community to the point where he's kind of persona non grata,
Well, yeah, but
which Trump is rapidly running towards.
And he's not going to be held accountable for this afterwards, no matter what, because anything he does as an official act is perfectly legal.
Yep.
But you know what? The people who go along with it don't have protection. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's true. However, like I said, I just think that if you're not paying attention to the fact of where the retribution is being focused at right now, you're going to wake up one day and be very, very surprised to find out that you are in a dictatorship and there are no courts that you can go to plead your case. And just because they say, dude, you're guilty of something.
Where's my 3 branches of government?
Exactly. And you're seeing this not just, it's not just in these cases. I mean, he's going after fucking governors. Okay. So criticism of Governor Jared Polis on March 24th, President Trump criticized a portrait of himself displayed in the state capitol, describing it as purposely distorted and urged Governor Polis to remove it. In his remarks, Trump labeled Polis a radical left governor and criticized his record on crime. The governor responded by acknowledging the president's interest in the Capitol's art and highlighting the building's historical significance. Then you got the threats against Maine Governor Janet Mills. After Governor Mills' opposition to an executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports, President Trump demanded an apology, threatening federal investigations and funding cuts targeting Maine. The administration opened investigations into the state's compliance with Title IX and temporarily suspended federal funding to the University of Maine despite findings of compliance. Federal funding freeze affecting multiple states on January 27, 2025. Trump issued an executive order halting nearly all federal grants impacting public health, education, small business, and infrastructure projects across various states. This action led to legal challenges from 22 states and D.C. A federal judge ruled against the funding freeze, stating that the administration had overstepped its authority by unilaterally pausing congressionally appropriated funds. Okay, so part of the argument for the Maine governor is, I get where she's coming from. She's like, this is my state. I'm not going to, you don't get to tell me how to handle this. But the other part of it is
states' rights.
Yeah, I mean, because of states' rights, exactly. The other part of that,
states' rights only matter as long as the state right agrees with the federal.
Right.
Yeah, as long as the state is doing something that the federal government approves of, then it's.
But I wouldn't think that there's literally, from my understanding, there's only 2 transgender students in the entire state of Maine. So is she picking a stupid
2
battle?
Transgender student athletes.
Yes.
An extra qualifier there.
Okay.
Yes.
But is she picking a battle that maybe is foolish? Or is she picking exactly the battle that she should? Because at the end of the day, where Trump is right, is it's going to be difficult for her when her election comes up when they've lost all this funding from the federal government.
That is a good point, but to me, that is exactly the hill you die on. And I look back to the quote that I said a handful of episodes ago, which is from a German who survived the Nazi regime and said, first they went for the communists. I was not a communist.
Right.
I was not a communist, so I did nothing. Then they went for the Jews, and I'm not a Jew, so I did nothing. Then they came for me, and no one was left to help me.
Right.
That's
so
what we're seeing. Yes, it's only 2 students, but that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Well, I guess the reason that I'm saying this is because we literally just spent the better part of 45 minutes almost talking about all these transgressions that Trump and his administration are doing, all this bullying, all this retribution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's stuff that I didn't even include in this because it's smaller stuff or petty and not worthy of the conversation, at least now. But what do? You know what I mean? Like we definitely need to pick our battles, like you can't just, when you've got a barrage of bullshit like that, you do kind of have to pick what battle you're going to enter into first. So
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. No, and the reason I don't think so is because if this were the exact opposite, let's look at the Joe Biden presidency. Republicans decided, okay, we are going to be nothing but obstructionist at the local, state, and federal level.
Mm-hmm.
That is all we're going to do. We're not going to comply. We're not going to do anything that the Biden administration says we should. And it fucking worked. Nothing got done under Biden.
Yeah.
A, because he's a senile old man and was not leveraging his power in a way that he could have legally.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
B,
on certain things, but you could also argue he did a lot of things that no one else was able to get done. Infrastructure, SNAP, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and granted, I'll take the victories where we can get them, especially when we're talking about Biden's presidency, because in my opinion, they're kind of few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
But
agreed.
My point being, for the proceduralist mind of the Democrat, and B, because of the Republican mind for obstructionism, hardly anything got done.
Right.
Democrats should be doing the exact same thing. Blue states should be doing the exact same thing.
Well, I definitely think that we need to define what the coalition is, and then, kind of get all the senator or all the governors and senators together, that are.
The problem is the coalition we're getting is not the coalition that has the most popularity behind it.
Right.
The most popular is the Bernie AOC anti-oligarchy tour.
And
they're doing their thing. They're selling out stadiums. They're, the whole nine. They have overflow rooms to their overflow rooms and things like that.
Right.
But the coalition that we're actually getting are Tea Party Democrats.
Yeah. Which
we're getting Tea Party Democrats.
Yeah.
Who I saw a news article of one of these conservative Democrats discussing like the Tea Party Democrats in the same sense that in the early 2000s we had the Tea Party Republicans.
Yeah, but
Tea Party Democrats recognize that no one likes them, and I fucking wonder why.
Yeah, because it doesn't work. That whole philosophy, of the Tea Party never did work, never will work, and only is obstructionist. And that's what you got when they started getting elected and taking congressional seats. You got the Freedom Caucus out of it.
Well, that's fair, but
really all they do is
when we're talking destroying the country or obstruct everything, I would rather obstruct everything.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
And I understand that that's probably the frame of reference that the Tea Party Republicans were working off of, was we would rather do nothing than watch the country be destroyed. It just so happens that they were wrong.
Mm-hmm. And
Democrats are right.
Well, I don't even know how right the Democrats are anymore, to be honest with you. There's so much bullshit that, right out of the gate, all I have to do is say Schumer. And everyone, fucking gets a little bit.
You're not going to get an argument out of me. I'm just saying in the sense of we're watching the destruction of the U.S. Democratic Republic before our very eyes.
And I think it's time for people to really wake up and start paying attention, because it's the retribution that is not being focused on in your news feeds necessarily. But that's where this all starts. It's the bully on the playground. It's the kid that no one wants to stand up to. It's
the revenge of the Sith.
It is the revenge of the Sith. And with that, that's another Elsie's Little Pickles.